What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Corey Austin Theorem. So, Roger Norris is now suing Jeff Payne, the father of Liam Payne, who died 3 short months ago, for defamation. And this is one of those things where I haven't followed the case extremely closely, but I'm more so appealing to my followers and subscribers because I did a video when Liam Payne first passed away several months ago, and I had quite a few people come and follow my channel and subscribe to my channel during that time, being fans of Liam Payne and being, kind of following that story. And I know that I still have those guys as subscribers. So I'm kind of appealing to you guys and seeing what you think about all this. I do have a little bit of documentation here, a couple of articles, a couple of comments that we're going to look at regarding it. No, but this is more so, I'm not taking a hard stance on any opinion really, because it's hard to have an educated opinion when you don't really have all of the facts. But I know a lot of you guys out there do have quite a few of the facts. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I know, kind of how this feels when you first read it, and then I'm just going to kind of leave the door open to you guys from there. So obviously, George Payne is being sued for defamation by the businessman slash friend slash, some say, de facto manager, which Roger Norris denies that he was ever any self-appointed manager or caretaker of Liam Payne or anything like that. Although there are some things that I've read and seen which does seem to indicate that he kind of passed himself off as that, at least unofficially, and in certain circumstances. Okay, so that does kind of make me look at Roger Norris, maybe just an opportunist here. Now, obviously, this is a businessman worth millions of dollars, so I don't think it's safe to say that he was befriending Liam Payne because he was solely after his money, although that could have indirectly been the case. Obviously, Liam Payne was worth quite a bit of money. Maybe he was befriending him, hoping to, at some point in the future, get him to invest with him or invest in business opportunities. Maybe he was ultimately looking to make money off of Liam Payne. Obviously, Liam Payne was a high-profile individual with quite a bit of net worth, okay? So when you look at a businessman like that and then befriending someone like Liam Payne, it definitely does make you wonder. But either way, Roger Norris denies all this. He is obviously being charged with manslaughter, which could potentially mean up to 15 years in prison for him if he is convicted. But the defamation thing, that's where, for me, this starts to really feel disingenuous on the part of Roger Norris. So you claim to be a friend and be a person who loves Liam Payne as a friend and cared for him, cared for his family, this, that, and the third, but yet you're suing the father of Liam Payne 3 short months after he lost his son to a tragic accident to the tune of, I believe, 10 million, I believe it was. I could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, you guys are welcome to correct me. I've not been keeping up with this extremely closely over the past few months, but I'm just going to read this real quick. Norris told a recent TMZ documentary examining Liam's life and death that he was in good spirits and perfectly balanced the day that he died. He refuted claims the singer was acting erratically and was intoxicated shortly before his fatal fall. Now, see, that already seems to me that he's just trying to deflect any responsibility away from himself onto something else, because we obviously, there were multiple witnesses that said he was, in fact, intoxicated, inebriated, couldn't stay on his feet. There's even video of him being carried back up to his room. There were so many things done wrong and irresponsibly by so many people, it seems like, during this whole situation. But the businessman had previously protested his innocence and denied claims that he was Liam's de facto manager. Now, again, de facto manager just means director in fact. In relation to a company, someone who assumes responsibility to act as a director, although never actually appointed as such. So if you think of him kind of being Liam's caretaker, if he was self-appointed de facto manager, he would have basically been saying, oh, I'll take care of him. I'll take on that responsibility, even though I haven't signed any sort of particular contract. Maybe he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart because he cares for Liam as a friend, or he knows that Liam, struggles with addiction the way he does. He said in a statement shortly after it emerged, he was being officially investigated before being charged. I never abandoned Liam. I went to his hotel 3 times that day and left 40 minutes before this happened. There were over 15 people at the hotel lobby chatting and joking with him when I left. I could have never imagined something like this would happen. I've given my statement to the prosecutor on October the 17th as a witness, and I haven't spoken to any police officer or prosecutor ever since. I wasn't Liam's manager. He was just my very dear friend. Argentinian prosecutors referred to Norris in a lengthy statement they released yesterday as the victim's representative, although they identified him only by his initials RIN. The judge, in her indictment ruling, accused Norris of failing in his duty of care, assistance, and help towards Liam and abandoning him to his fate, knowing he couldn't fend for himself. What do you guys know about this? You know, there's so many different layers to talk about, and I'm a very objective, practical sort of thinker on this channel. Okay, so please don't take anything I say and think that I'm taking some hard stance on either side of the fence, or in any particular angle. There's more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different angles here, right? It's very layered and convoluted as a situation, and obviously it's a very tragic occurrence of events as well. But initially, I'm not a professional on Argentinian law, but initially feels really off the fact that this friend, Roger Norris, is facing a potential 15 years in prison just because he left the hotel and left Liam there. Okay? I understand if it was a situation where Liam Payne was obviously not able to fend for himself. I guess I don't know. This whole law of, death by abandonment sort of thing is kind of new to me. So I guess that aspect of it kind of felt weird to me a little bit, just because it's more like neglect instead of abuse. It's more like you didn't do certain things that you should have done, as opposed to committing a crime where you do things that you shouldn't have done, right? The act of, omission as opposed to commission here. But, I understand there has to be a certain level of responsibility, and obviously in a situation like this, especially if Liam Payne was in fact out of sorts, in a drug and drinking induced, inebriated, intoxicated sort of state, obviously that he couldn't be taken back up to the room, thrown into the room, and left. I hate to be jumping all over the place, but I'll share this story, okay? And I've shared it on here before, but when I was 15 years old, so one of the first times I ever drank alcohol, right? And I went to this party where my brother was there. This girl who was our prom queen had this party, and there's a bunch of young kids there. Of course, there was alcohol there. One of the first times I had ever really drank, and drank heavily, and I couldn't hold my liquor, didn't know what I was doing. And then as I became more intoxicated, I just began to just do really stupid things, like just take liquor to the head. Just, yeah, I know it sounds disgusting. I was 15 years old. This particular night, I do believe that I would have died had not my brother and some other friends had been there to watch me, because I eventually got to a point where I completely passed out, was on my back. I was not coherent at all, but I began to throw up, and from what I'm told, it was just throwing up, and it was just coming back into my mouth and face. I would have likely died, suffocated, drowned on my own vomit. I hate to be gross, but that's probably what would have happened to me. And I'm pretty sure that I did have alcohol poisoning during this time. I mean, I didn't go to the doctor about it, but I nursed a severe hangover for probably 3 days after this. And I couldn't keep food down. All I could do was just kind of sip on Gatorade, Powerade, that sort of thing. So, but I think about that and I think to myself, okay, I could see how if I hadn't had, a brother there who cared about me and wanted to make sure that I was okay and stayed with me the whole night. Literally, I had somebody staying by my side the whole night, pretty much. But what if they hadn't? You know, what if they had not? What if they had neglected to do that? Then obviously, someone would have had to have been held responsible for, hey, this guy's in your house, this guy's in your presence. You have to have some sort of, if not just Samaritan sort of duty to watch out for this guy. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing Liam Payne's state of mind to what I was that particular night. I believe I was worse. But with that said, we don't really know that. Not sure if Roger Norris knows that. Not sure if anybody other than the actual hotel staff that were actually in his presence during those final few moments. I don't know if anybody other than them really knows how bad he really was in terms of his drug and alcohol induced state, right? But I'll tell you, so let me say that first. I'm not saying it's wrong because I don't fully understand it, and I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a professional on Argentinian law, all the rest of it. This whole thing about being charged with manslaughter based on abandoning someone before death, that is completely new to me. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that I have read that that is a law that doesn't really even exist in certain places. It does in Argentina, obviously. In other places, I don't know if that law necessarily exists, right? Because if you're not there, how can you be responsible for someone's death? Certainly not directly, but their thought process in terms of Argentinian law is that indirectly you are responsible, because if you see someone in that sort of compromised, vulnerable state, especially if you know that they're staying in a room by themselves on the third floor of a hotel that has a balcony, you may want to make sure one way or the other that that person is not left alone. Okay. But I guess the question is, when did Roger Norris supposedly leave? You know, because he claims that everything was all good when he left. That they were all there, people were down in the lobby, and everybody was cordial, everything was good. You know, maybe there was some level of intoxication, but it definitely wasn't at a point where, Liam Payne couldn't correspond with people or walk or so, do basic functions, right? That's what he's saying. Um, but then, I'm sorry, I know this is kind of going off the rails, but then there's this thing with defamation, which obviously, at first the manslaughter thing felt wrong because I'm like, well, he wasn't there. How can he be responsible for Liam Payne's death when he wasn't there? But then now you get to this defamation, and he's suing the father of Liam Payne based on certain things that have been said about Roger Norres in the public. And that definitely feels off. That feels selfish. That feels like, seems like you were probably never really his friend, right? Because that is a complete lack of empathy, sympathy, or compassion to sue someone who obviously lost their son in a tragic accident only months before, right? But Roger Norres is all, this is his life too. You know, I don't know him personally, obviously, but this is his life too. And he obviously is facing the possibility of some serious jail time should he be convicted of this. So maybe he's doing it out of anger. And then I know that it's understood that it would go to Liam Payne's son, Bear, the money that he would get. But to me, that's a nothing burger because from what I understand, Liam Payne had already left most of his that the listen, the son Bear is taken care of. From what I understand, from the family of Jeff Payne, and then also what Liam himself was worth and what he was leaving or would have left or is leaving to his son. I don't think the son needs an extra 10 mil, you know. So why would you be so keen on, oh, I'm going to sue you because you said bad things about me in the public eye, making me look bad and affecting my finances, but then I'm going to take this 10 million that I'm getting from you or whatever it is, and then I'm going to give it to the son as though the son really needs it or is in really a bad situation and is going to be not only without his father but without money. And I don't think that's the case at all, right? So that's why it feels really off that you're suing the father of Liam Payne for defamation in the first place. He's just looking for, he wants someone to pay justice for and to pay for the loss of his son, right? And he feels like there are some responsible parties that need to pay for that. And obviously, Roger Norres is one of those. I understand that he wasn't even allowed to come to the funeral, which that should tell you right there how they feel about Roger. But the defamation, the suing for defamation feels off. But then it also feels off that he's offering that if he wins that defamation suit, to give that money to the son. Hey, you know, you say you're not Liam Payne's caretaker and you didn't have any particular responsibility to him, his life, his livelihood, any of that, but yet even in his death, you are appointing yourself as a person that needs to now take care of his son after Liam passes. You know, you weren't Liam's caretaker, but you want to be his son's caretaker after Liam passes. Especially knowing that you're facing this manslaughter charge. I don't know. I don't know. I do want to hear what you guys think about it. I got a lot of people that started following my channel right around the time because I had a video that did pretty well for, you know, I have a small channel, but I had a video that did pretty well during that time. And so I gained probably 100, 150 subscribers just on that one particular video. So I know there's a lot of people out there that were fans of One Direction, fans of Liam Payne, and knew quite a few details about it. So if that's you, if you see this, let me know what you think. I'm going to read one of these comments here, and then we're going to bounce. I'm actually disgusted by this. And on the third month death anniversary, and on the second month mark, he decided to participate in that disgusting TMZ documentary, then refused to testify 2 days later at his Zoom inquiry. Jeff hasn't even spoken publicly about this. He's doing a lot behind the scenes as the Paynes are plaintiffs in the case, and he has made statements to the authorities. Roger wants him to retract his statement. There are emails and statements where the hotel staff were referring to Roger as Liam's manager and contacting Roger about Liam during his stay. All right, and right there. What this feels like to me is that while Liam was alive, Roger Norris was, I don't know if he's clout chasing or, obviously Liam's famous person, was with One Direction, who was obviously a very, very famous singing group. Maybe it just made him feel like, yeah, I'm his manager, just flossing a little bit, so I'm getting the sense that he did kind of, even though he wasn't technically, signed, sealed, and delivered officially his manager or his caretaker, it does seem like while Liam was alive, he gladly kind of took on that responsibility. And seems like he said to quite a few people, here's my number. Let me know if you have any trouble. If you need this or if you need that, let me know. Watch out for a lot of his affairs. He's a good friend of mine. What it seems like he did kind of self-appoint himself as that. But now that Liam Payne has passed away in this tragic accident, and that relationship of de facto manager doesn't benefit him anymore, and it stands to harm him, even potentially send him away to prison for 15 years, now he is adamantly not his caretaker, adamantly not his de facto manager. He's adamantly not required to say or do anything on the behalf of Liam Payne, right? Seems like a switch flipped in this guy, and obviously he, before Liam Payne passed away, obviously he could have never, Roger Norris, that is, didn't see this coming, and I'm sure he didn't know this was going to happen, although he's close friends with him. He knows that Liam Payne has the propensity to get effed up, and intoxicated, inebriated. But he also knows that he has a propensity for trying to escape hotel rooms. What I understand, it's not the first time, not even the second time that Liam had attempted to do something like that. It's apparently a pretty common thing with Liam. But I find it interesting that he seems to have been and appointed himself as the de facto manager prior to Liam's passing. But now that Liam has passed, especially given the ominous and sinister circumstances in which he passed, now he's adamantly not the manager, right? Um, and I think the fact that his response to all of this is to sue Liam Payne's father, uh, in my opinion, that that really shows, I guess, his true colors. That really shows what his intentions were all along, and that he's probably a person that really doesn't have the ability to truly unconditionally care about someone. It seems like his relationship with Liam Payne was simply one of convenience, simply one of flossing and clout chasing, and being able to say that he's good friends with, oh yeah, the guy that sang One Direction, that guy. Oh yeah, yeah, We're tight, man. We're boys, you know? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't care about the guy, but this move now to sue the father just seems, it just seems off. And it seems like he's the type of guy that really never had Liam Payne's best interest at heart. He only had his own interest. One of those people that, if you can't do anything for me, I don't have any use for you, sort of thing. But Liam Payne could do something for him. You know, Liam Payne was a famous person. Liam Payne had a huge name. And I believe that Roger Norris took pride in being friends with one of the prominent stars of the group One Direction. It's just what it feels like to me. Um, so anyway, I try to be really, objective on here. So let me finish this real quick. Roger also went to court trying to collect his girlfriend's phone and laptop with a dozen croissants. They declined him. Wow. So he shows up at court with croissants, kind of like a salesperson does when they, show up at one of their customers with donuts, you know, and tried to collect the phone and the laptop of the girlfriend. Wow. Mm, that seems that seems weird. That seems off. Like, why do you want that laptop and the phone so bad? Yeah, that's off. Here's more on Jeff's statement where Jeff mentioned Roger was encouraging Liam to enter the labor market and develop more in business rather than his artistic side, right? So there's that ulterior motive. Now, apparently, this guy is a businessman who's already worth millions, but a lot of times people who are worth millions are what? Money hungry. Obviously, Liam Payne was worth quite a bit of money. So the relationship that he had with Liam Payne was, if not already, potentially very beneficial to Roger Norris as a businessman. And this statement here shows that, that he was trying to talk him to entering the labor market more so, and develop more in that way as opposed to his artistic side, right? And a lot of times that involves, invest in this. In fact, he's probably looking at Liam Payne for some sort of, investments, that sort of thing, to help benefit some sort of business he had going on. Obviously, there is so much we don't know about it, but there's a reason he was banned from the funeral. Roger then going to sue Jeff and say he's giving any money he wins from suing Jeff to Bear. And he just left it right there. Let's read a couple of comments. This guy is a grade A dick. Seriously, though, how big of a piece of garbage do you have to be to sue a man who tragically lost his son only 3 months ago? The first thing that got me was going to TMZ. You claim to be Liam's friend, and you went to the website that put his dead body all over the internet in one of the most classless acts I have ever seen. Now suing a grieving parent? Disgusting. No empathy and totally self-absorbed actions. 100,000% nobody wrecked his reputation except for himself. As a true crime researcher, this unfortunately is common. It will never fail to baffle me when people attack a grieving family. Was it Roger who sold the picture? Somebody asked. Wow. I'm just going to leave it right there. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. Let me know if there's any new information that you have on this. I'm definitely very curious to know. I don't pretend to know everything about this situation, so I'm trying not to speak very matter of fact. I'm just giving my opinion on here. I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel who likes to talk and yap, and I'm just giving my opinion on it. But I wanted to address this when I heard about this defamation suit. I'm like, wait a minute, you're suing the father now? This guy who was supposedly a good friend of Liam Payne, that just doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right in here, you know. But anyway, if you would, and if you've not, subscribe to the channel, please, and like the video. And again, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about all this. I will see you guys on the next one. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace.